So this is the model that I've begun using with my clients around creating their radical revolution. And the evolution of that involves 3 particular areas. And there's a self-revolution, there's a business revolution, and then you evolve into a total aligned radical revolution. And the reason why I designed this was because when I thought back to my HR career, and I thought back to when I started my business, and then I look at now as I coach entrepreneurs on their business, what I've come to realize is that your self-development is much more important than we probably give it credit for. If you're unable to go and ask for a raise, that's not a career problem. That's a self problem. If you're not able to take a stand with people in your family about things that are going on in your life, that's not a family problem. That's a self problem. If you own a business and you hesitate to charge what you know you're worth, if you're in business and you know you're supposed to do sales calls on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 4 hours a day, and you say, okay, I'm gonna print my list. All right, let me just check Facebook real quick, 'cause I'm supposed to post on Facebook every day. Okay, oh, you know what, if I can just get my newsletter set, then I don't have to worry about that for the rest of the week. If you're not making those sales calls, that is not a business problem. That is a self-development problem. And when you decide that the way you can soar in every area of your life is to make sure that you have become equipped in your own personal revolution, then you become unstoppable, no matter what your situation, no matter what your circumstances, no matter what you do. And that self-revelation is about clarity and confidence and purpose, being focused and assertive and persuasive. It's about being able to know that you are worth it. We all have something, and in my case, several things, that we all need to work on at various times. And I want you to think about your own self-development. If you had to identify what could be holding you back, what would that be for you? In my own personal development journey, which I'm still on, I think back to an amazing fear I had of being judged. That was my thing. What are people going to think? I don't want them to think this. I don't want them to think that. And I would ask myself, where would that come from? Where would that come from? And I thought about it, and I thought about it. You know, I had to go all the way back to the 4th grade. To the 4th grade. And I was thinking about the fact that at that time, I was being transported to a school out of my neighborhood. In that school out of my neighborhood, I didn't look like most people at that school. And I remember doing a lot of activities as a child. I used to take gymnastics. I used to take skating lessons. And then I was taking swimming lessons. And I remember when you swim, okay, y'all, African American. When you swim, there are some things that happens to the texture of your hair. And I remember getting my hair braided because I was going to take these swim lessons, and I had nice little cornrows and beads and braids. And I remember going to school the next day, excited. Got the little beads so it can make the little noise. Y'all remember that? Y'all know, yeah. And I had a little bounce. I had my beads. I was like, wow. And I got to class, sat down, and a little girl looked at me, and she was like, oh, what did you do to your hair? Devastated in that moment. No bounce, no excitement. Went home and took them out. Took them out. And lo and behold, here I am, starting a business, building a career, and then boom, that moment would come up over and over again. How am I being judged? Am I going to be judged? Should I do that? Should I do that? And it was only through working through my own self-worth, my own ability to define that, hey, it really don't matter what you think. You know, it only matters what I believe. But it showed up. Showed up in my marriage, showed up in my career, shows up in my business. And so when you think about your own self-development and what you want to accomplish in your career, in your business, with your finances, what conversations are you having with yourself about yourself? And sometimes the conversation has been there so long, it's just humming in the background. You can't even always identify it. You have to sit down and think about it. And so when you're talking about creating a self-revolution, setting yourself up to win in every area of your life, you have to be willing to go through a process to help you determine how to elevate your own personal self so that you can elevate every other area in your life. And that process is around realizing some things around the choices that you've made. It's about affirming some things about who you are. Who you are. You know, one of the things I love about my community that I'm in is that we look at each other and we say, tell me what you know about you. Tell me what you know. I know I'm powerful. I know I'm strong. I know I'm equipped. So you have to begin to tell yourself, what do you know about yourself? Not what have other people said about you, not what your boss thinks about you, but what do you know about yourself? What can you affirm? And then to be able to make some decisions based on that, to investigate what needs to be done, to create a plan, and then align yourself with the right people. That's the power of a self-revolution. And then there's the business revolution. There's this process of whether you're in corporate America, whether you have your own business, how are you going to strategize and plan and get systems in place so that you can create the career you want? You know, I worked in corporate America for about 17 years before I started my business. And I'm kind of unique because I like my job. I was paid well. I loved what I did. And I knew that even in that business, I had control. Sometimes we think that we don't have control in corporate America, but we do have. I worked in HR enough to know that when people came in there with demands, I'm in the meetings where there's a pay raise freeze. And I'm in the meeting when we give pay raises. I'm in the meeting when we're on a hiring freeze. I make the call to the person we're making the offer to. So don't discount your power if you can communicate and articulate your value and your worth. And if not there, someplace else. In your business. You know, one of the things about working with new entrepreneurs, which is why I designed this model, or emerging entrepreneurs, even frustrated entrepreneurs, is because the challenges they were having, we could work out the plan, the implementation strategy, we go through revenue streams, we look at the process for marketing and positioning and branding. All right, make the sales call. Submit the proposal. And so walking them through that process, your own business or career revolution. What's your strategy? Where do you see yourself in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? How are you going to get there? That's the middle part of this evolution. And then there's the radical revolution, total alignment. Total alignment. That's when, and I was an English major, but I don't know if this is proper English. That's when you know who you be. Who you be. You know that you know that you know that you know who you are. You know what you stand for. You know what you will tolerate and what you will not tolerate. You know where you're headed, and you know how you're going to get there. You know who you be. You know what you do. No one can knock you off your game. I'm not saying perfect, but you know. So where are you on that evolution? Now, inside your program book, there's a mini workbook that we're working through as we go through this evolution process over the next 51 hours. Over those next 51 hours. And this is what I mean by in the work. Knowing that it can be hard just to do the worksheets, and we don't even know why. Some of you have already decided, I'm not doing that. I came, I'm going to listen, I'm going to have some fun, but I ain't doing that. The evolution is in the work. So the question is, in this evolution process, when you look at self, when you look at business, when you look at total alignment, the question becomes, what area is screaming out to you for where you are? And I want you to write that down. Is it the self area? Is it the business and career? Is it really total alignment? You just want to shore up, you want to get there to that total alignment space? What is it for you? And then why? What's screaming out to you, and then why? The beauty of this is that no matter where you are, self, business, total alignment, whether there are some things in self but not all, some things in business but not all, guess what? If you look around the room, we all wrote something down. And sometimes we look to our left and we look to our right and we're like, wow, how do they have it all? Like, wow. We're all powerful and we're all in the journey. And so the great thing about an event like this is that this is where you can come and you can drop your shoulders. You can relax. You can lean into this experience, let your guard down a little bit, and connect with other people and help each other create the evolution that they need.